you DTFF.
Once again, here is Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football with your hosts, Dustin Lunt and Jake Trowbridge.
Welcome into another episode of Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football, DTFF, if you nasty. I apologize to all of our listeners who are used to hearing Dustin's glorious voice open these podcasts, but just for tonight, he is taking off his host hat and adding his competition hat, or beret, as I like to think of it. Dustin, you are going to be participating with our lovely guests in some fantasy trivia. How do you feel about this?
I am excited for tonight. I hope I don't embarrass myself. I feel like I used all my brain power already on Jeopardy this evening. So I've got all that non-fantasy knowledge in my head, and I got to shift gears, get into the fantasy realm, and see what happens.
I think you're going to have to do it fast, because even though, you know, some of these guests here, they like to talk like they aren't good at trivia, but we know at the very least there's one here who is. So, yes, listeners, this is fantasy trivia. I encourage you to play along as we go through this. So let's introduce our guests / contestants, I suppose. First of all, he's a contributor for 4 for 4, Football Guys, and NBC Sports Edge. It's almost too many things. Chris Allen, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? It's been way too long. I know we were talking in the DMs before we recorded tonight. I'm excited for the chance to be able to sit down and talk with everybody here for the show today. But we were talking about the chance that we've got to kick it once everybody gets into Canton here come August. So no, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for that. But no, I already told you guys, I'm the one that's bad at trivia. So I will probably be like dead last, or if we're doing teams or something like that, I am the dead weight on our team. So I'm just letting it be known now that this is not going to work out for me personally. But no, I'm excited to be able to kick with you guys tonight.
You heard it here first. Chris is going to win the trivia.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always how that works.
I said,
Chris,
the last time we were on
John.
here, Chris, you had all of this stat knowledge that I 100% believe that you're lying right now. I just have not believed you at all.
Yeah, maybe that stuff maybe, but we'll see. I'm terrible at trivia, though. I swear.
Well, I know you're good at drinking and at making drinks, actually, because you and Dustin both have that home brewer knowledge. Are you partaking of your own home brew tonight? Do you have something in your glass? What's going on?
I am not, actually. I just spent the past week in New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so I am still recuperating. I got back on Friday morning at like 1:00. And so for 4 days of drinking, I am off the sauce for like another few days. So that's why I showed you guys earlier. I've been just like guzzling down water. It's been water and tea for me, like since I've been back home. So yeah.
That is the largest container of water I've ever seen in my life. Listeners, if you can't see that, it is bigger than 2 of my faces. So really, you're doing it right, I think, coming post New Orleans. Dustin can attest to that, of course.
Absolutely.
Now, our next guest here, I've been told, is not drinking just water. He is the co-author of Amazon's #1 best-selling fantasy football black book and a current contributor for both Odds Checker and The Game Day. It's Nate Hamilton. Nate, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. And yeah, I mean, I've got 3 sets. I have water in my Michael Myers cup. I've got it is a home brew, by the way. It's a brown ale home brew. So that was nice that you brought that up there.
Very nice, very nice.
And of course I made an old fashioned because of bourbon. I have to.
And because your hosts are both from Wisconsin, right? I mean, that was obviously why you did it initially.
The only reason, actually, now that you say that. So,
all right, Nate. I don't know what's your confidence level in tonight that you might win.
It's right around where Chris's motivation is. I'm thinking that's where my confidence level is. Simply because when you play the humble card, you've already written an excuse for yourself to lose, so that's fine. And I think I want to steal Chris's tactics and go with that as well. I'm probably gonna be dead last.
Look at these fucking pros. No
Time for last. I like it.
All right. Well, this guy has no such excuse, and I will not accept one from him. He is who I consider to be the godfather of fantasy football trivia. And so we had to have him come back on the show again tonight. He is the co-founder of Front Yard Fantasy. He also contributes to FanDuel. It is JL Garofalo. Welcome back, sir.
It is me. It is me. I'm happy to be here. Excited to kick it with you all, and very, very honored to be back on this show. You are some of my favorite people in the industry, as you know, and I'm very good at trivia, so suck it, guys.
No bullshit excuses from JL.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. Now, Dustin, after getting to survey the land here, do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like you can come out on top here?
I feel like I have a very good chance of placing second at this point.
Ooh,
Okay.
And that's not a high bar. I mean, I don't think I'm going to do well just with Chris and Nate, their confidence level. I feel like I can scoop out a second place.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
You want to clear the very low bar that they have set for you. And
That's
I
right.
think that's fine. Sometimes you have to know when to aim for the middle. You know?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Now, before we get into the game itself, we typically do some housekeeping up front here. Oh, JL, I didn't even ask you what you're drinking, by the way. My apologies. First time host here.
I was over here brooding about the fact that you didn't ask me. I am drinking Checker Spot Brewing. It's a Baltimore local beer here. I know nothing about it other than it's called Checker Spot. There's a cool monster truck on it.
I like that
Sweet.
can art.
Yeah.
That is
So
nice.
can art's like a whole thing in beers, right, Chris? Because you're
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
you're-
you can
you're
see a
into-
couple of the. Let's see. So this one's from, and this is actually down your way, JL, from Crooked Crab Brewing. Where's that at? Odenton, Maryland.
I know
I don't know.
Odenton. It's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Not
so
even.
like,
That's like
see,
Super Mario Brothers.
yeah, see, look at that.
I love it.
See,
Oh,
I like
that's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, a friend of mine, like, he showed me that can, and I was like, I don't care how much it costs, get me that and bring it over, please. So yeah.
Follow-up question, JL. Do you find you drink anything that has a monster truck on it? Is that kind of your barometer?
Yeah, really. If I see a monster truck, I immediately just start salivating, get very thirsty, and I have to drink it.
I see a monster truck, I put it in my mouth. That's what I've always said.
always been that way.
Now we're gonna get into the rules of tonight's festivities here very quickly. But before we did, Dustin really wanted to talk about some of these things that have gone on in the NFL today. For those of you listening yesterday, Dustin, do you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers? Do you want to talk about Russell Wilson? Are there players that you really are hankering to get into?
Do I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers? Not really. But I suppose we should. Just the fact that staying with the Packers, supposedly, there's a deal in place. Nothing official yet, but looks like he's going to have another last stand with the Packers, trying to outlive Tom Brady here on the field, apparently, in one last ride.
All right. Well, to make this
like Tom Brady's is dying on the field.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is like, I will live longer than you and stay on this field. I'm not moving.
I'm going to be buried underneath a Lambo. Suck it, y'all. For fantasy purposes, I would just like, if we could, a 2-word max answer about what you feel about Aaron Rodgers' fantasy value just for next year, just for 2022. Because I also don't believe it's going to last much longer than that. Maybe I'm just wishing that. But Dustin, let's start off with you for fantasy. 2 words for Aaron Rodgers' value going forward for 2022.
Top 5.
Ooh,
There. How's that?
all right. I mean, I don't agree, but I like how concise you were about it, Chris.
Stays same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. a little bit of nothing. It's just everything you got this last year and now moving forward. Nate?
Can I give 3 letters?
It's breaking the rules, but we'll allow it.
MVP.
What does that stand for?
Most valuable participant.
Is that the title you're hoping to win tonight, Nate?
That's the name.
That is what I'm going for, baby. Let's go.
That's what JL was going for.
Yeah.
JL, 2 words for Rodgers value in 2022.
Man, Chris kind of mine's kind of the same vein as Chris. I was gonna say business usual since I have 2. It's not 3.
It's cutting out that middle section. I'm just gonna say fuck him. That's my thoughts on his value for 2022 moving forward. And I hate that you made us even talk about it, Dustin.
All right.
Well, I didn't make you do anything. You're hosting this evening. You didn't have to bring it up.
Jake's not upset at all.
Real nice, Dustin. Real nice. Well, just for that comment, we're not going to talk about Russell Wilson at all. Just kidding. Actually, we'll sprinkle in a little bit of this throughout the evening as we go through some of these questions, because spoilers, some of these answers might tie into some news that happened today. And so then it'll come up real organic like, and we'll all love it.
All right.
But first things first, most importantly, there is no drunk trade this week, listeners. There's no drunk trade. One, we got to conserve time. We need all the time for this glorious fantasy game. But 2, we need more submissions. So, send us more damn submissions, and then we'll have more segments about drunk trades going forward.
And how can I do that, Jake? How can I send you a submission? Because
I'm so glad you asked, Nate. You can find us on Twitter at Drinking Fantasy, and then what you do is you type, and then you hit send, and then you hope that we respond to you on the show. That's how it works.
Okay.
All right. So much appreciated.
Sending you one right now.
Without any extra prelude, I want to get into the nitty gritty. If you are playing, I'm taking a cue from JL's wonderful show because he sets such great precedent here. If you are playing, guests, please move yourself out of the public chat and into the private chat, just in case these folks playing along like to shove out their answers. We don't want you guys getting any extra help from the group. But we also have to decide order. We're going to randomize, because I don't want you guys to think that I cheated in any way in how I set this up. Everything has to be above board, unlike Commissioner Roger Goodell. So we are going to do a little spin.
Ooh,
your names are even on it.
That's fancy.
Ignore the taco meat advertisement, or don't. Stop and go.
$1.99, 16 ounces
for $1.99 per pound.
I'm hungry now.
It's not a bad deal.
I gotta
Honestly,
go.
ground beef the same. So it's not bad. It's not a bad deal.
Two
I take back what I said. Almost a
taco meat ground beef.
I don't know. I don't ask questions.
Confusing.
I don't think you should either. If at $1.99 per pound, I don't know. So let's figure out who is going to be answering first. We have JL gets to go first out of the gate, and then we have Chris going second.
All right, let's go.
And the big third, it's gonna be Nate. And just so he feels appreciated and gets to see his name clicked on.
Is it gonna be? Let's
spin it one more time. Yeah. Dustin.
Eliminated already, Dustin.
MVP.
Wow.
You're MVP, Dustin.
It's like elementary school all over again. Picked last.
I'm going to go ahead and put you guys right in order on my screen so I don't have to deal with any of that keeping track nonsense. And now, if this works, and I hope it does, I'm going to try sharing my screen. I made flashcards for tonight, you guys. Wow. And I'm really proud of myself for it, so I'd like you all to enjoy it.
Super professional.
I know.
You trying to show me
don't
up?
say it yet. Don't say it just yet, because we now have State Farm Insurance. They heard us talking about Aaron Rodgers before.
Who's that guy?
Steve.
Steve Ppr
for this portion. So JL, you are up first. Now you get to look at this question for a little bit while I explain the rules. So quick little cheat moment for JL. We're going to do 4 rounds. Each round has 4 questions. Each round is about a certain fantasy position. So we're doing quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, no kickers. Sorry, Linda G. That's not happening on my account. And you will all get the chance to answer your question. If you get it right, you get a point. If you don't get it right, the next person gets to try and answer. And it goes through the entire four of you. If it gets that far, if none of you get the question right, then it's a free-for-all. Then it is sudden death. I will give you hints until somebody shouts out the right answer at that point. Are we all in agreement here? Do we all understand the rules?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
Good. If you need them explained again at any point in the podcast, I mean, fuck you guys. You should have listened better. And you
Go back and watch.
Well, all right then. Yeah,
what
this
you did
game's
wrong,
cutthroat.
I guess. All right. First question again on the screen. JL, you've had extra time. That's the only allowance you're going to get in this game. 2 quarterbacks threw for 5,000 yards at least last year. Tom Brady was one of them. Who was the other?
Yeah, I am not the best at trivia, but this one I do know because I feel like it has come up at some point in the recent weeks. It's Justin Herbert, I believe.
Oh, look at you getting us off to a nice start. Justin Herbert did throw for 5,014 yards.
Damn.
So my question here, I'm curious, and I'm going to ask this to the person who answered the question, but let's say hypothetically, you were to choose between Justin Herbert in Dynasty or Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Would you rather have Herbert or Lawrence and Fields in Superflex Dynasty?
I'm assuming you're asking me, right? You said
you go
whoever
for it,
answered.
You
know what? I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, assuming this is a Superflex type league. I do like Justin Herbert. He has impressed me the last 2 seasons. I was not super excited about him when he was coming into the league. Trevor Lawrence, I absolutely still believe in him. I think he's an extremely talented player. I think we're going to see him bounce back. And I'm still very high on Justin Fields. So I think both those guys in the long run will be much more value than just Justin Herbert alone.
That's totally fair. By the way, according to Dynasty Trade Calculator, those 2 sides are about split even, which is why I was curious here. Does anybody disagree with JL? Anybody on the other side that wants Herbert?
I don't strongly disagree, but I would take Herbert over that just because I love his situation and his weapons over what we've seen so far from the other 2. And, Herbert's just in a better organization, which often leads to better performances. So I'm going to go with Herbert over those 2.
I think that's fair. I think a lot of people are would probably take Herbert in this. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris.
No, I was just going to agree with Nate. Like, I don't really have like one strong lean one way or the other. We could look at previous track record, look at the number one or top 6 like QB weeks that Justin Herbert has had already so far. And I just kind of lean that way just because of the fantasy points he's been able to produce so far. And like what Nate was talking about with the personnel he's currently have around him, with them already working out a long-term deal with Mike Williams, even though it's kind of like, I don't know, that's a pretty hefty deal to be quite honest.
It is.
But I'll leave that to other folks to discuss. But either way, I do think like I would lean more towards Herbert. But like you said, if the value is split like right down the middle between that deal right there, I can't really say like one way or the other.
Dustin, you got a side on this?
My initial thought as you were asking the question was Herbert right away. So that's what I'll stick with. But yeah, it's close. It's not like you're losing out on either side, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, the beards once again go against JL. I hope that is not a common theme for this evening. Moving on to the next question here. So now, Chris, which starting quarterback had the worst quarterback rating in 2021?
Easy one, Chris. You got this one.
I don't look at QBR though.
Yeah.
So like
you just have to think it through, who according
like
to
started
your
like
judgment,
the full season.
Starting in the beginning.
Starting quarterback who started, I will say, the majority of the season. I don't want to give too much away, but started the majority of the season.
started the majority of the season. Majority of the season.
Sam Darnold had a pretty good run there. Chris, not to give you.
That's
any
what I was
hints or
thinking. Like, there are a few majority of the season. So, like, can you give me like a cutoff for number of games played?
Well, we'll say at least 10 games.
I'll go with well, no. Played 10 games. I'll go with Daniel Jones.
That's a great guess. It is not correct, but that is a wonderful guess. In fact, if I was smarter, I would, have this pulled up and know exactly where everybody ranked. I don't. You're just wrong, Chris, and that's as much as I can tell you about this.
All right.
So you have chance for redemption. Don't you worry.
All right,
Dustin. The question now moves to you. Which starting quarterback had the worst QB rating in 2021?
No, it goes to Nate. I was picked last. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
you were. Why did you guys get out of order?
Because you moved
things
over there.
Things are right better. Okay.
It was my lack of beard.
Probably. Nate, I have Nate, who is your answer for this?
Oh man. I feel like it's a little tricky, but there's only one name that comes to mind when it comes to QB rating being awful, and it's Baker Mayfield for me.
It is another fantastic guess. It is another wrong answer. So now, Dustin, it does go to you.
Ooh, I'm going to say Zach Wilson.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson with a 69.7 QBR. The worst. Not good. Not good for Zach Wilson. Does anybody have hopes for Zach Wilson turning things around?
Not really. I guess define turn things around, because he can't get worse.
Let's say, can he become a startable quarterback in 2 QB leagues?
Not next year. Okay. I would say he's like a year away from being a year away.
Yeah.
That's what I'll call Zach Wilson.
That is an incredible way to phrase that.
No, because if I'm remembering right, he was out of the five rookie quarterbacks, he had like the worst completion percentage over expected. Who was the starter for Houston, the rookie that we all thought was going to stuck?
Davis Mills.
Yeah, Mills was actually almost like miles better than him. Even his clean pocket completion percentage was actually still horrific compared to most of the rest of the starting quarterbacks as well. So even if he was put in a good situation, even those were few and far in between, because what was it, their rookie offensive lineman that they drafted was hurt for I think at the beginning of the year, wasn't it? And they had a couple of injuries also along the offensive line. So it's just it was tough. It was a tough season for him. I get it. But yeah, there was just a lot of red flags, even for him being just a rookie, that I thought were just it didn't look good for the Jets, especially considering they could have taken literally anybody else.
See, I was going to go there too with the interceptions. I think that's expected with a rookie, but I think almost half the games he didn't even throw a touchdown pass. So that is concerning. If he can combat some of the interceptions with a couple touchdowns here and there, then great. But again, we're talking about another bad organization in the Jets, and Zach Wilson. I'm not even interested in him in Superflex leagues.
No.
Sorry.
Shit. and no, if you were to send away, let me ask Dustin and JL here. If you were able to send away a second round pick for him in Superflex, would you do it?
Send away a second round.
Yep. And get Zach Wilson on your team. Would you do it?
For a second?
I'll probably do it for a second. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm curious. There's always a barometer. There's always a tipping point. Eventually, you're going to have this guy on your team if the price is low enough. We just got to figure out what that is.
I think it's very difficult for just a quarterback alone, but let alone a rookie quarterback who's literally the first year in the NFL, to bring a broken system or a system that is not conducive to their success, transcend that and be able to succeed, for in NFL purposes and fantasy. You see Trevor Lawrence get with guys like Zach Wilson. The difference, though, to me, is the talent. I don't see as much talent from Zach Wilson. I think he can be successful enough as a quarterback, but I don't know that he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, I'm bummed talking about this, so we're going to move on to the next question.
Sorry,
Nate,
Jake.
Nate, I won't skip over you again. I won't do it. So for you, Joe Burrow took the most sacks in 2021, but which quarterback who had at least 5 starts? This time I put it in the question. So it's like I'm getting better as we go along.
At least 5 starts.
At least
already.
5 starts. Took the fewest. I had to have some sort of cutoff because if some guy starts one game and doesn't get sacked at all, well, then we got a big tie for this, you know.
Yes, but the at least 5 games is what kind of is throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to say Tom Brady right off the bat. But I'm gonna. Oh man.
5.
That's just crazy that you say 5 games. Fine. I'm gonna pick somebody who's closer to 5 games then.
He says at least 5 starts.
Correct.
Okay.
So 5 or more.
Could be 17.
Could be. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna go Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is a great guess, but an incorrect answer, unfortunately. Dustin, do you have a guess for this?
I'm gonna say I don't have a good feeling about this, but Russell Talent Wilson.
No, Russell's escapability did not land him as his answer. JL.
I'm going to go with Carson Wentz. I think the offensive line probably hooked him up, but I don't know if
Yes.
the fewest.
Carson Wentz, unfortunately, was not the fewest for this one.
Okay.
Chris?
At least 5 starts?
At least 5.
That's what I'm trying to think of, like backups that like came through like at some point throughout the year. What about Taysom Hill?
Oh, I love you so much.
Oh.
Taysom Hill with just 1 sack on the year.
Nice pull. How'd you get to
Where it
Taysom
gets
Hill?
tricky.
Would
6
never
Well, I figured
quarterbacks
a
starts.
mobile quarterback. Yeah, mobile quarterback, less sacks. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Nice pull. That's
It
incredible.
was either him or who was Lamar's backup? I can't remember
Huntley?
his name.
Huntley?
Yeah, I would have liked
Yeah,
I would
Tyler Huntley,
I would just been pulling for
that would've been
backup
interesting.
mobile QBs.
Did he play 5 games? Because that would have been a really good guess.
It would have
if he
been
did.
I was
close.
thinking
It
like
would have been
Jameis
close.
Winston. I was thinking possibly.
Oh yeah, maybe he only played like 4 games. See, that would have been wrong then.
But that would have been a good guess because I don't remember him getting sacked that much.
Yeah.
Real quickly, anybody have any merit with Taysom Hill this year? Like any interest at all? Suppose trying to get in under the wire before they maybe re-sign somebody?
No.
No.
Okay. That's fair. Good. Let's move on.
If
Dustin.
Kevin James is the coach of the Saints next year, then yes, I will. Just for
Then you're
comedic
riding
value,
with
not for fantasy, but you know.
Okay. I like it. All right, Dustin, your question. Which quarterback put up the highest weekly fantasy score in 2021? Highest weekly
That's like
score.
an individual week, not like
That's
per
right.
week.
In one of all of the weeks, who had the absolute best week at quarterback?
I am gonna say Mr. Kale Drink himself, Tom Brady.
Amazing guess, but incorrect for this question.
Hate this game.
Yeah.
Best 1 week performance by a quarterback. I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson. Maybe that Colts game that I went to.
It was a very good game. It was not the best game, unfortunately.
You're not the best game.
I already know that. Why would you say that to me? -4 points for JL.
Wow.
Chris, what is your answer?
So this was actually during like the fantasy season.
Yes.
Okay.
So weeks
So we're
1
not, like,
through 18,
converting,
which
like,
we had the best.
Yeah, we're not like okay, just making sure we're not converting like the postseason stuff. Josh Allen.
Amazing guess. I will tell you he is second on the list, but he is not first.
Okay, fine.
You know
I-
you're wrong if Jake gives
think
you a
I
nice
know
little
this one.
compliment.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you know.
If it wasn't Lamar Jackson, I think I know this one. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert on this one.
You're going with the Herbster, and you would be correct. In week 5,
Very
he had
nice.
42.9 in standard formats. That was the best of the bunch.
Yeah, I was tossing
So-
up between him and Lamar Jackson, but so thanks JL for eliminating
I
him
got
for
you.
me.
I got you, Nate. That's what I'm here for.
Can I just take this opportunity to tell you guys something really neat? After
Please do.
round 1, everybody has a point.
Woo!
How fun is that?
Yay!
Literally everybody has
Ready?
1 point. We're all
Yeah.
tied.
Cheers.
What a
Teamwork.
fun thing that we've done here. All right. Are you ready to move on to the running back round, JL?
Yes.
I don't care. Here's the next question. Which running back led the league in broken tackles?
Broken tackles.
Ooh.
God, I know there's like one guy that sticks out, and I just can't. My brain isn't quite there. I'm gonna kick myself because I feel like I'm gonna be wrong here. I'm gonna go with the Najee Harris.
Najee Harris, really good guess. Not correct.
Yeah.
Chris.
Jonathan Taylor.
Another amazing guess, but incorrect. Nate.
Dang.
So it's me.
It is you.
Just because it's talked about so many times. Man, it's one of 2 guys, and I hate this. I'm gonna go with someone who's actually split the backfield. Had 203 carries in Javonto Williams.
As soon as you started talking about the backfield
Whoa.
split, I knew you were going to get it. Javonto
It was
Williams had
between him and Nick
31.
Chubb for me.
I don't know where Chubbster fell on the list, but he was not number 1. I will tell you that. I know we're all waiting on Melvin Gordon news of a re-signing or him moving off. Worst case scenario, though, if he stays, can he be still like a top 8 running back next year? Anybody?
Javonto?
Yeah.
I'd say more like maybe top 12, and he's like number 11.
Ooh. Real
I would go
fringe
top
RB1.
15 though. Melvin Gordon, people hate him for no reason. He's still a damn good running back, obviously.
I like Melvin Gordon.
Like as much as everyone loves Javonto and they want the shiny new toy, they split literally right down the middle. I think 203 carries apiece. So, I could see Javonto now being in his second year getting more than Melvin Gordon if he sticks around, but I still think Melvin Gordon takes away that much from a guy like Javonto Williams. So I think that he would be a top 15 at best if Melvin Gordon is there healthy all year.
Nate, not only did they have the exact same number of carries, they had the exact same number of carries inside the 10-yard line. So it's not even like one of them got more goal work and the other didn't. So very unfortunate. Dustin, Wisconsin guy, Melvin Gordon, how much are you willing to let him chip into Javonte's value?
I think the split probably remains fairly similar to what they had this year. I think they realized they had a good thing coming. Although I'm curious with the new coaching staff and then plus with Russ coming in now as well, how that kind of changes the offensive outlook a little bit. If they're going to be a little bit more a vertical threat throwing downfield to those young wide receivers, or are they going to be more of like what they were doing in Seattle, not letting Russ cook and relying on the running game and the defense?
Stupid people, let Russ do stuff. All right, let's move on to the next question here for Chris. 2 running backs finished in the top 10 in PPR formats, despite having fewer than 200 carries. So we both discussed it's not Melvin Gordon or Javonto Williams.
Right.
Name one of the 2 with fewer than 200 carries.
Fewer than 200 carries. Will you tell me if I'm? I guess you'll tell me if I'm wrong after the first name that I guess.
I'll do it really fast too.
All right, like so no like. Oh, that's a really good guess, but you're dumb.
No, I'm gonna cut you to the quick this time. That was for the first round. It's not for the second round. This time I'm out for blood. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Less than 200 carries. Less than 200 carries. Who had less than 200 carries? Gosh, that'd be good to at least even see that list.
That's a good question.
No, Austin Eckler probably had more than 200 carries, I think. Yeah, no.
Kind of forgot about him.
Leonard Fournette.
Ooh.
I wanted so badly to cut
my
you to the
God.
quick, and I can't. Leonard Fournette had
Ooh.
180
Wow.
carries. Cordero Patterson was the
Nice
other guy
job.
with 153
He only had
carries.
180 carries. Wow.
180
Okay.
That's
carries.
wild. Cordero
All right.
Patterson
Feels
makes
like
some
more.
sense.
All right.
It feels like more. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one here for Nate the Great. Which running back put up the highest weekly fantasy score in 2021? Spoiler alert, you're all going to get a question like this at a different position. So there you go.
Okay. Man, this one, I'm always thinking about two different people, right? Man, I know Derrick Henry put up a monster week, but I know for a fact, because I have him on like 7 leagues, this guy crushed it for me one week. It's got to be Jonathan Taylor. It has to be.
I was really hoping to get some trickery in with this one, but it is Jonathan Taylor, 53.4 points, week 11. Justin Jackson was the second guy on the list, by the way, followed by Rashad Penny. So I thought maybe those guys
makes
would
sense.
flirt around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did not happen. You guys are all smart. So we're at the point now where there's an official lead. Nate has taken over the lead, by the way, with 3 points. So
man.
you're all playing catch up. All right, Dustin. 2 running backs racked up 300 plus carries. More carries. What's up with this bullshit me and carries? I don't know. You tell me, Dustin. One of these guys was Jonathan Taylor, who was the only other running back to have more than 300 carries.
That is a good question, Jake.
Oh, thank you.
Cripes.
Cripes.
Is it Zeke? I don't think it's Zeke, but that's the first name that comes to mind.
You just answered your own question. You are wrong, you fool. All right, JL, what is your guess?
Oh God, he failed me last time, but I'll go with him again. I'll go with Najee Harris this time.
Second
be it,
time's
right?
the
Yeah,
charm.
okay.
307
Like
Like going
carries.
through all the starters, like who just got like a ridiculous buttload. And
Buttload
he's
of carries. Is that what it's
buttload.
called every time you move into
Yeah,
300?
what do you call it?
I call it a taint spasm.
Oh,
Is that
me,
right?
me too.
Is that not incredible? Okay. So, hey, here's another dynasty question, though, for you guys. So let's
This
assume
towards me.
you can either get Najee Harris or you could get Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery. Would you take Harris or would you take Jacobs and Montgomery? Let's start with Dustin on this. I'm curious what you'd have to say.
I think I would go with Jacobs and Montgomery. As gross as that sounds, they're both really underrated. I actually like Jacobs' situation there with the Raiders, and like I said, Montgomery perpetually underrated. So I'll take the package deal with the two of them.
Anybody leaning on the Najee side?
No. And here's why. Because if Najee Harris keeps up his workload, I think he led the league in touches for running backs last year. If he keeps that up, he's going to be relevant for fantasy for 2 or 3 seasons at most before he crashes down to earth like Todd Gurley all of a sudden comes up with a knee injury that lingers forever and he's never the same guy. And I think that I'm hoping, and it's tough though, because the Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger going forward, who are they going to have back there that's going to, be the focus of the team and not have it be Najee again. So I'm a little worried that Najee is going to back-to-back seasons with, leading all running backs with touches. So I would rather go with the two other options, Jacobs and Montgomery, knowing that they're going to at least have a little bit more longevity as far as workload goes. That's my final answer.
And is Jacobs really that gross of a running back to have on your roster?
Oh,
I mean, I
not
know
at all.
and Derek Carr, like people keep giving him shit like all the time, but Derek Carr has been top 16 quarterback the past 2 seasons in a row. He's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if this is still a productive offense, despite them losing they lost Ruggs, Waller was out pretty much like half the season ish, like last year too. And Josh Jacobs took over most of the workload, not just as a rusher, because who were the guys that were supposed to back him up? One of them went down with
Kenny and Drake.
ACL. Yeah, Drake went down with the torn ACL towards the back end of the season too. So if I'm not mistaken, Josh Jacobs, his target share has also increased over the past 2 seasons as well. So it's you're getting a 3-down back, also relatively young. Montgomery is also relatively young. From a dynasty perspective, I don't mind having 2 productive backs on my roster like that, especially in the situations that they're in, both with either productive or, with Chicago, we're assuming it's an ascending offense with Justin Fields now getting more time to develop. So yeah, I would take those 2 in a heartbeat.
You are all as insightful as you are handsome. Jo, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess that means I'm not handsome because I'm okay going Najee Harris on this. I don't mind this at all. I think I would only make this trade, or I would decide which side of the trade I'm on if this is a real trade, depending on my roster. If it's the type of league where we're consolidating the 2 assets and getting that Najee Harris, I think his value is going to be he's going to retain his value for a little longer than these other guys. They're only, both of them, Josh Jacobs and Dave Montgomery, are only a year older than Najee Harris.
Right.
But they've been playing longer because Najee's a little older. But yeah, I think this is a pretty fair trade.
JL, you are also insightful. I want to tell you that.
Yeah, I say if you got if you have a contending roster, I would have Montgomery and Jacobs on a contending roster. No, that's a no-brainer.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a lot of leagues I'll play in a 12-team league with expanded rosters, or if you're in a 14-team league where what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Getting more assets is actually valuable. Having depth at the position becomes even more valuable because it does give you an edge.
Sure.
And so I think there's those situations too where taking a guy like Najee Harris and see if you can get 2 guys who have a lot of upside, a lot left on their career, and who probably aren't quite at their peak value. It's not a bad strategy.
I'm going to change my answer. I want all 3.
I'll take 3 of them. You take nothing.
I didn't know that was an option. All right, Nate.
You got to break outside of the boundaries of conventional thinking here. You really got to exercise those back brain muscles.
Nate just went big brain mode on us, there.
Big brain. My son says that to me every day. Big brain. Yeah.
Nate's got one of those leagues where he's the manager of every team. It's just like a 12-team league, and it's all just Nate versus Nate.
Right? Yeah.
And I brag about the trades I get too.
And then you trash talk the shit out of yourself for setting bad ones. Look at this putz. You should see what this guy said.
Yeah, look at this trade. Yeah,
all right, let's keep the big brain momentum going here into the wide receiver round. That's a lot of pressure, JL, but hopefully you can live up to it. Which wide receiver with a minimum of 60 targets led the league in receiving yards per target?
Oh, okay.
It's got to be Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
You would think so, but you would unfortunately be incorrect.
Stinky boy,
Chris.
Jacob.
Don't use my full name. Not on my podcast. I will remove you as soon as I find out how to do that.
Yards per
Chris,
target.
not Chase. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yards per target doesn't have to necessarily be by deep ball. It could just be because of
yards after the catch.
Yak. That's
Debo.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, Debo.
Yeah.
Didn't think that far ahead, Chris.
No, Samuel is correct with 11.
It had to have been close though with Jamar.
Target. It was, if I recall, Jamar Chase was close, but no cigar.
Man, that's a great point though, Chris. I hadn't even considered that.
Well, no, because right when you said Jamar Chase, I was like, oh yeah, that has to be it. Yeah.
This is not a receiving question, but I'm just curious for next year. Over under 35 rushing attempts for Deebo Samuel. Is anybody taking the over?
Over.
All over.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a sneaky under though. You could take the under if the odds are good enough.
The second wide receiver, not named Cordero Patterson, talking like pure strict wide receiver to get the second most carries was Rondale Moore with 18. So,
Gross.
you have to be banking on him being the unicorn, which
Well, he's
I
not a
know
wide
Dustin's-
receiver, right? He's a wide back. Remember,
that's
wide back.
I've been called that a
fucking
few times in my
glorious.
life.
Rude or awesome. I don't know. I'm really not
I couldn't
sure.
tell. I couldn't tell.
All right, Chris, your true question here, as you've already added on to your tally, but which wide
All right.
receiver put up the highest weekly fantasy score in 2021?
Is it? Oh, Cooper Cup.
It is somehow not Cooper Cup.
Oh,
That was
What?
my guess.
I know.
Oh,
You'll have to come up with a new one.
Wait. Is it my turn?
It is your turn, Nate. Yes,
Does this actually count like the fantasy playoffs?
No, this is weeks 1 through 18 only.
no, so it's not Gabriel
Oh,
Davis.
that's fantasy playoffs then.
Yeah, fantasy playoffs. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct. Fantasy
Jamar
playoffs.
Chase.
Yes, indeedy.
Yeah.
Jamar
My
Chase in
poor
week
brother.
17.
Jamar
Yep.
Chase in the championship.
Yep.
So yeah.
55.6 points in your fantasy championship.
Yep.
Will help
Yep.
a lot of things.
I think you
Uh,
mixed up Chris's question and my question.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think I did. JL. One quick one about this. Would you rather give up 2 firsts and a second for Jamar Chase or 1 first and 1 second for T. Higgins? Anybody have strong feelings about
I go
Chase versus
Higgins. I freaking I love Higgins, man. He actually led in the last 9 weeks of the season between Jamar Chase and himself in, I think it was like receiving yards, fantasy points. So yeah, man, I love Higgins. I think he's completely overshadowed because of Jamar Chase. But I like the consistency out of Higgins. And I would pay less for Higgins than I would pay more for Jamar Chase, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm just gonna go, Nate's route and just say I'll take them both.
Yes. No, Chris, you stole my answer.
I'll take them both.
I was
I
thinking
love
the
it.
same thing as soon as he asked her. So I was just like, I would do both of those deals. Sounds great.
Yep.
Do you
I
feel
like both
comfortable
of them.
having both guys on your teams like that? For, let's say for Dynasty,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
offense, you're good with it.
I don't even care.
Absolutely. Same thing like if you had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like when you have, if you had Robert Woods in Cooper Cup, you'd want them both too. It's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I would, and I did before Woods got injured, but
Yeah,
I liked
well,
Woods
yeah.
more.
Oh.
Mhm.
Dustin, would you feel strongly about one side or the other?
I love them both. Don't get me wrong, and I think it's good value for either player. But give me the cheaper option with Higgins.
I love the Higgins love. I love that you guys love T. Higgins. It makes me
I love that you guys love T. Higgins.
I love all
Oh.
things,
All things
Bengals.
Bengals.
Look at us go.
The Higgins Clemson signed jersey. I gotta. put up.
Nice.
All right. Up over to whose turn is it? We got Nate's question, I think, here. Right. Okay. I'm not going to skip you again. I know that I keep saying I'm not going to, and then I do, but this time I'm not actually
You
going to do
even
that.
lined
Nate,
this up on the video so we can.
I know. It only helps if you're smart enough to understand what that means. Nate, which wide receiver with at least 60 targets had the highest average depth of target? ADOT for all you abbreviators out there. At least 60 targets and the highest ADOT.
At least 60 targets.
Yeah, we're trying to rule out these randos with this.
Yeah, well,
question.
because it's like, one reception for somebody. Yeah, I get you. Oh, this one, man, it's between 3 guys for me on this one. Oh boy. How much time do I have?
I mean, not that much.
13 and a half hours.
Yep.
All right. Screw it. I'll just say that it is. It's got to be again. It's got to be like Jamar Chase or Debo, and I already said Jamar, so I'm gonna go Debo.
You are incorrect.
Damn it!
Dustin, what do you think?
Is it Stephon Diggs?
You are incorrect.
That's an
JL.
interesting guess.
Uh,
I can't go Jamar Chase again. I'll look like an idiot.
You never look like an idiot going Jamar Chase.
God, I'm gonna go with Marquise Brown.
that's a good one.
That's an interesting answer, but it's wrong.
Damn it!
Chris, who do you got?
Mike Williams.
I thought
Another interesting question, but also wrong. And nobody
Mark
got one for the first time here. We've gone through, and I'm just excited that we get to do the sudden death thing now. So I'm going to give hints. And after the first hint, feel free to start shouting out your answer.
All right.
This receiver played in the AFC West.
Tyreek Hill.
Nope.
it's wide receiver AFC West.
Mm-hmm. Any guesses before I move on to the next gimme hint?
No.
This wide receiver just got a new quarterback.
Cortland Sutton?
Jerry Jeudy.
Dustin with the win.
Yeah.
Cortland
Wow.
Sutton had the highest ADOT at 15.4 yards and
Gross.
somehow failed to be relevant at all last
I mean,
year.
no wonder none of us thought of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, abysmal. If you listen to this
I didn't
podcast,
even
you know how
he
we
had
feel
60
about him.
targets.
Yeah.
Who was second?
When?
You have who was second, Jake?
No, I don't, because I'm not that prepared, Nate. I'm sorry.
Third,
I bet
you have
Justin
anyone
would have
who's
if he was
third?
hosting, but I do not. I'm sure it was one of the guys that you guys named because you're also super smart.
I don't
and
want to
so
pull up
it
PFF
obviously
and like
had
start cheating or anything like that. But yeah,
Wow, no one got that, guys.
I would have
real
never
well.
guessed
Now
that.
Dustin gets a point because he did shout it out at the very end. But
True. Very true.
But just real quick, I just want to know with Russell Wilson at quarterback, Sutton or Judy for each of you. JL, let's start
Judy.
with you.
Sorry.
Sutton. You said Sutton or Jeudy?
Yep.
It's Jeudy. It's Jeudy. Yeah. I'm
Chris,
Yeah, that's still Judy for me.
Nate, Judy,
It's Judy, yeah.
I mean,
Dustin.
Russ is the ship that raises, the tide that raises all ships, or however that phrase goes. But yeah,
I think
Judy.
that's right.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
like
all right. I work for the Air Force. I'm not a Navy guy, but yeah.
Navy guys
Dustin, you
love their
stayed-
sayings.
Dustin
Yeah.
staying with consensus, or are you moving to? Something?
My heart wants to say Cortland Sutton, but no, my brain says Judy.
I'm actually going to go against all of you and say Sutton. This is the only time I'm interjecting my opinion, but that
Oh, well,
ADOT
it's an
you're not a
interesting answer,
contestant,
but it's wrong,
Jake.
Jake.
You're
you son
You're
of a
ugly.
bitch. I love it. I love it. Negative 25 points for Chris. Okay, we are moving on to the last
You can have some of
question
mine,
for
Chris.
this round. All right, Dustin, can you make it to back-to-back? Which wide receiver with at least 60 targets again had the highest passer rating when targeted? So their quarterback targeted them. They led to the highest QB rating. Who was that?
Oh God. Gonna say Cooper Kupp.
That'd
You
be
are
my guess.
wrong.
What?
Oh,
JL?
what? Mhm.
I'm gonna.
How is it not Cooper Cup?
Because it's rigged against me.
I'm stumped.
You guys know who the most was, even without this target minimum that we had? Randall Cobb. I just want to throw that out there. He was at the top, but he didn't have 60 targets.
Well,
JL,
'cause,
who's the
all
guy
he did
with
was
60?
Did he score 4 touchdowns on 10 targets or something like that, or something ridiculous?
Pretty much. He was this year's Robert Tonyan for the Packers, basically.
Yep.
Oh boy. I'm gonna go. I feel like I know the answer to this, but it's buried in my subconscious somewhere. I'm gonna go with T. Higgins. This feels like way too many Bengals guesses, though.
You would be right in that it's too
Yeah.
many Bengals guesses, but you would be wrong with the actual answer to the question. So, Chris, over to you.
So highest passer rating
When targeted.
when
Who's
targeted.
Mr. Reliable?
Oh my god.
Uh,
Better guess.
so who scored a lot of touchdowns? Adams? Davante Adams?
Yeah, that was my next guess.
It's a good guess.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect.
Oh. All
Wow.
right.
I only say unfortunately that time. I'm nice because I like Davante Adams. That's
Okay.
why. Let me put that out there.
Oh, not because I gave the answer, but because
No,
you like
not
Davante.
because of you, Chris.
Okay.
Because of
Okay.
Davante. Let's keep
All
that
right.
straight. All right, Nate, who do you have?
Doing a whole lot of fact finding about our relationship here tonight, Jake.
That's really what this was all about.
Wow.
It's really
This
cool.
is like a trust building exercise, but the opposite.
I don't like this game.
I like your guess, Chris, though, because I was gonna say, like, I started thinking about wide receivers, but then I was like, let's go to like some of the quarterbacks that have the best QB rating in general, anyway. And I would have went with that one as well. Man, do I want to go with? Yeah, I mean, all right, I'll go with Tyreek Hill.
That is wrong. So we are at another sudden death here. Let me give you your first hint. This wide receiver and quarterback play in the NFC West.
And quarterback?
Yeah, he throws to his guy. They're both on the same
Okay.
team. They're both in the same division.
DeAndre Hopkins?
Yes, sir. There it is. It
Oh,
only
yeah.
needed that
He had
one.
60
He had
targets?
133.6. He had 60 targets,
He had
just
60
barely. It was like
Out of sight, out of
63 or
mind.
65 or something like that. So it was not a lot, but he made it happen. So my
Wow.
only question about DeAndre Hopkins, anybody like DeAndre Hopkins
Me.
still, or is he like
Yeah.
dead? Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, we don't like
Rich.
touchdowns around here?
Yeah,
I mean,
or contested
what-
catches.
But Christian Kirk likely to be gone?
I
that-
bought
He's
this
like 29
figurine,
and a half, so he's dead.
so I have to go DeAndre Hopkins no matter what.
love it.
And I have a
mentioned-
signed jersey as well.
Oh, I'm
Would
totally
anyone dare give a first round pick for him in Dynasty at this point?
maybe a
I'm not
late,
trading
but
him.
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
I don't think he. Okay, you're saying trade it first away. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I'm keeping him until he retires.
It's
I
the
love him,
Julio
but it's
Jones
just not like
effect.
a buy.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't even think I could do a late first for him.
So we like him. We just don't like him that much.
I don't think you
to
have
where
to
you
pay a
want to
first.
give away that much. Oh, I doubt you do. Maybe a second. Do you think a second is approximate
I
value?
think a second would do it for most people. Because I think people are, especially most people are playing not with analysts, experts. So I think that they're gonna have that recency
Nah.
bias is gonna be even amplified more.
But I think you have to throw in another player as well. Like, I don't think you could just get Hopkins for a second. Like, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
I think that
a
you'd
second
have
and
to
Gabe
put-
Davis.
Yeah, something like that. I think you'd have to throw in one of those,
Like a wide receiver 2-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, Marquise Brown, maybe.
For
Maybe.
straight up for DeAndre Hopkins.
Maybe.
No, with a second. Like
Oh,
with
with
a
a-
second.
Oh, I would rather have Marquise Brown in a second, and I love DeAndre Hopkins, but the situation. I mean, there's still a lot of ambiguity with like he's going to come back, he's going to be in Arizona, and the target's going to be there now. I don't know.
But what if Marquise Brown goes play video games?
He's not
That's
leaving to
true.
go play video
That's
games.
true.
He ain't leaving
That
to
could
play
happen
no
to anyone
video
at any
games.
moment.
The underrated aspect of rankings, the ever elusive Twitch proportion.
Right?
Proportant? That's not a fucking word. Okay, we're moving on to tight ends here real quick, but I want to give another recap. Another little fun thing. Everybody is tied with somebody. So Nate and Chris are tied with 4, and JL and Dustin, you're tied with 2. You're terrible, but you have redemption still possible for you.
So the two guys that said they're going to suck at this are winning right now?
Same
Classic.
brain, Chris. I was literally just going to say that.
Knew it. You assholes knew what you're doing from the very start. All right, JL, which tight end
Bandwagon sons of
put
bitches.
up the highest weekly fantasy score in 2021?
God, this one's tough.
This is probably the worst version of this question, I will say.
Because it's just like, who scored the most touchdowns in a game?
Right. And like I feel like each the top 10 of them had like at least one blow up game. I'm gonna go with Do these get like progressively harder? Like because it's later in the game, I can expect like this isn't going to be an obvious one.
Not really. No.
Okay.
It's still just based on position.
I'm just going to pretend like you said yes there. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Waller.
Darren Waller is incorrect. Chris.
Andrews.
Yep.
Mark Andrews is
I wrote it
correct.
up.
41.7
Nice
points
job,
in week
Chris.
5.
It seems very
Him
obvious.
or Kelsey.
Yeah.
Week
Week 5.
Kelsey was
Colts
number
game?
2.
Was
there.
week 5 the game against the Colts?
Oh yeah, that
Maybe?
the overtime game.
The overtime game.
Yeah. The comeback overtime game.
Because I knew he had a bunch of points that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably that is hands down the best NFL game I've been to in my life so far.
That would be sweet to be at. Yeah.
It was.
You were
very
there,
good.
JL. Why didn't you guess Andrews? What's up?
Because I'm an idiot, Nate.
He's trying to go
Forgot.
against his biases.
As soon as
didn't
he said
want to
Andrews, I
look
was
like
like,
a
yeah.
homer.
Now I feel bad for asking the question.
Okay, all I want to know for next year, because yes, Travis Kelce was number 2. Jack Doyle was in like the top 4, by the way. He had a
Sure.
random ass blow up game talking about the Colts. But next year, redraft. Would you rather take Mark Andrews in the first or Travis Kelce in the second? Any strong opinions?
I'll take the cheaper one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want either. At those per costs.
Yeah, same.
That's actually the big brain move.
That's
that
my
JL
answer
just said.
as well.
Yeah, that's probably the right.
I'll
the
take
right-
Schultz in like the 6th or
Or-
7th.
or give me Goddard.
Yeah. Screw your question, Jake.
Albert Okwegman. Hey, it was a really well thought out question, I thought.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
damn jerks.
Your answer
You
our own
damn
question.
jerks. All right. Look at me just forget to give JL a point for that question. I don't know how that
I
happened.
didn't get it right.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So I
That's
should
right, you
give
gotta
my
give it a credit.
points. Wow.
Oh,
I already,
Better
I
have
already
one.
gave, I already gave Chris a point.
So much going
Chris
into this
did-
trust exercise here.
Chris, I told you it's an antitrust exercise. You're thinking about
I
this
didn't
all
catch
wrong.
the anti part. Oh, I get it now. I get
But
it.
Jake, how can I buy that watch on Amazon over there?
I kind of want that.
If you wanted to go out to Garmin on Amazon Prime right now for $299.99, you can get a Garmin Approach S42. The rest of it went away, so I don't know, but you'll have to search.
And I just want to say Amazon is not currently a sponsor, but we would love them to sponsor
Jeffrey.
our show. So
Right?
if you're
Come on.
listening,
We know you're watching.
hit us up.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, I
Amazon.
love it.
All right, moving on to Chris. I'm not going to skip you for the question. There's
All
some
right.
real trust building happening here. Which tight end with at least 40 targets, we're dropping the barometer a little bit, had
All
the
right.
highest yards per reception in 2021?
Ooh,
Gronk.
damn it. I was gonna guess
Gronk is incorrect.
Oh,
Nate.
really?
that. I thought that was right.
Highest yards per reception. This one's tricky though, because I know Goddard's up there. You know what? Every time I saw a highlight of this guy, it was plus 10 yards. I'm gonna go with Kyle Pitts.
Oh, that's a good one.
Look at the big brain on
Wow.
Nate. Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts with 50.
That's a
that
good
was
one.
that was out of left
That's
field.
a good one. Yeah.
yards
that was out
per
of left field.
reception. Top 12 amongst all the pass catchers last year
Wow.
in yards per reception. So, folks seem to be like poo-pooing his year, but that's pretty great. So does anybody? I guess the
overshot, like-
question. Yeah, go ahead.
Expectations were just ridiculous for him, and I already knew to fade
Yeah.
him immediately when everyone was saying he's going to be like top 3 or even a number 1 tight end in the league. I'm just like, I already knew like he was getting too much, and it was unfair for him because he truly is probably the tight end in Dynasty to own for the next foreseeable future. And as soon as the season ended, he's an automatic buy for me.
So with that in mind, then redraft next year, talking about tight ends, his ADP was 4th round in redraft this year, late 4th
Wow.
round on average. Would
Uh-huh.
you take him there this year?
Nope.
No.
No one's willing to pull that. that one
Not
out?
in that offense. No,
I mean,
I
the
think he'll do.
offense-
I think he'll do better than he did this past season. But
No Calvin
but-
Ridley again, though.
right. I mean, the offense
Yeah.
hasn't changed at all.
yeah, I don't think the volume necessarily. Well, it would have been nice if he got more volume, but it wasn't like there's a ton of competition anyway. And it's the touchdowns, I guess, is a big thing.
Right.
Didn't get touchdowns.
Right.
Do we think
Redraft,
he goes
I'm
over?
not-
Go ahead.
I'm not taking a tight end before round 6. Like that's just.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So any question that you have with a tight end before round 6, my
Shove it
answer
up
is
your
no.
butt, Jake.
God damn it, Nate. We might as well close the show out. That's all I had to work with for the rest of the way. So nobody
As long as I have
wins.
the lead. Do I have the lead?
And screw you guys. All right, Nate. I guess you get another question, though, if I'm going to be nice
All right.
about it.
Double down.
Four different tight ends scored 9 touchdowns apiece. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, names we already talked about. There were 2 of them. Name one of the remaining 2.
Oh, I know this. There's 2, right? I just name one of them, right?
Yep, you can get one of the 2.
This happened like I think much earlier. He went on this crazy touchdown scoring streak. It's got to be Hunter Henry has to be up there. So that's my guess. I'm gonna go Hunter Henry.
Official
Yeah, it has to
locked
be one of
in.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry is correct.
Dawson
Dawson
Knox.
Knox
yeah.
was the other guy
Okay.
there.
Dawson
That was-
Knox. That's a good one.
yeah.
That's
Yeah. I
that's
would have never
sneaky.
gotten Knox.
Well, let me
Wasn't
do.
sure if
Since
we
we
got the
can't do
9.
round questions about tight end, lest I upset Nathan, would you 1 for 1 straight up next year? You want Dawson Knox? You want Hunter Henry?
Knox.
Knox.
Yeah.
Knox.
Universal Knox.
Yep.
All right. So take Hunter Henry when he falls later.
It's a
I guess,
sequel to Hard Knocks.
probably.
Why not?
It's hilarious. I mean, like Knox was good in college, but he was on the same team as like DK Metcalf and AJ Brown and all the rest of those guys. I
Right.
mean, think about that.
That
He
is
really
wild.
did show out this
Mm-hmm.
year. I mean, with
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis and the whole gang, he still managed to do great
Whole
things. So
gang.
I do like
Well,
that.
next
Our-
year will be when Jonnu Smith scores 10 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep like flip every other year, you know.
Yeah. So that's why I'm staying away from that.
Dustin and I have been hurt too much by Jonnu Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin, if you had 3 words for Jonnu Smith, what would they be? I'm just curious.
Eat my ass.
I was going to go with the GFY, but hey.
Dustin, tell us how you really feel.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. You have no idea how much I hurt over that.
We got a pretty good idea. How much
It's about
you're
as
hurting.
clean of an out as we've ever had on this podcast. I think we should end it there, but I'm not going to because Dustin gets one more chance for a question and he deserves it after Jonnu's hatred towards him. Okay, Dustin, which starting tight end scored 1/3 of his fantasy points in total in the first 2 games of the season?
Ooh.
Starting tight end. Let me put that into perspective. This is not a rando name. That's what I mean by that.
Darren Waller.
That is a
Incorrect.
Good.
Okay.
What? Oh man, I thought
Yeah.
that had to be right.
JL, you have a second guess
Oh, it's
in
me.
the basket?
The first a third of his total fantasy points. It's not Schultz. I'm gonna go with I don't know that he had he didn't have couldn't have had a good start to the season. I'll go with Kittle. That can't be right though.
It is not Kittle. Chris.
Hawkinson.
Ooh,
Look at the big
That is
brain
good
on
guess.
TJ
God
Hawkinson. 46.3 points in the first, 145.3
good guess.
all the way. Technically, it's like 33.1%. I took a little bit of leniency here. I hope you can forgive me. with
Oh,
that.
You're the host. You can do
All
what you
right.
want.
Here's something really fun, you guys. We got through all 4 rounds, and everybody's still tied with somebody. So Chris
Dustin and I are the same.
and Nate
Yep.
are tied with 6. JL and Dustin tied with 2. So yes, the 2 who claimed they would not have any chance here tonight are
MVPs.
sitting way atop the throne. So
Yeah,
what
you
this
gonna do, man?
means is that we have to have a tiebreaker between the two of you to figure out who is truly the winner. This is going to be a little bit of a memory question. So I hope that you were paying attention. Nice work, says the screen. By the way, that's directed to just two of you. I'll let you figure out amongst yourselves who that two is. But for Chris and
Dustin.
Nate, your question is which player, and by the way, shout out the answer. This is not going to go in any order. So both of you be ready. Shout out the answer. Which player had the best overall weekly finish in 2021?
Jonathan Taylor.
The most points. Is that I'm curious, just Chris, do you have an answer?
Well, I was gonna say Jonathan Taylor, but
wait. Can I change mine?
The best,
I mean, you can do whatever you
Jamar
you want.
Jamar Chase.
There's no rules.
He had the single best performance of the season, didn't he?
You know, that's not fair. I shouldn't have let it play out that way where you could have taken multiple guesses. I'm gonna pivot. No. That was on me. Don't you?
Was it right? Was it right?
Apologize to me. Which question or which answer you gave two?
Was it Jamar Chase?
It was Jamar Chase. 55.6 was the most overall. Yeah. Let me pivot. I have a fresh question here that was kind of my reserve question anyways. So let's do this. Again, same rules apply though.
Okay.
You have to just be the first person to answer here. 3 running backs finished with at least 70% of their team's carries inside the 10-yard line. One of them was Jonathan Taylor. Name one of the other two. Inside the 10-yard.
Austin Eckler.
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Keep going.
Najee Harris?
Did we both just say the same thing?
Najee Harris is correct. So second guess, Najee Harris ended up with 73.9.
Austin Eckler out of all the other possible running backs?
I think we both get this win, damn it.
No, that's exactly what a loser says, Nate. You do not get this win. Najee Harris was one. Joe Mixon was the other, by the way, with 72.2%, if you were curious. So our glorious
the fact we both said Austin Eckler
winner is Nate Hamilton. You've won the inaugural version of DTFF trivia.
Welcome to the Cool Kids Club, Chris.
Chris wins
Dustin and I are happy
DTF.
to have you.
And I think that means that you get like some sort of proprietary rights to this, Chris. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Is like you get like a partial stake in the show.
Wow.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know for sure. Do you have any words that you'd like to share as the winner of trivia?
Only two words.
I had a speech prepared. Let me find my notes.
I thought you were gonna play it all cool, like you didn't prepare because you didn't think you were gonna win.
I was supposed to win. I'm just gonna interrupt his. I was supposed to win.
Nate, shut your mouth. This is not the time for second place to speak. This is time for first place, Chris, to speak only.
Nate rolling in here like Kanye West, like I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah. Reverse Kanye.
No, I mean, this was so much fun. And being able to just to talk through all this stuff and actually just like reliving some of the moments, like when we were talking through some of the names, like thinking about like Jamar Chase's year, Cooper Kupp's year, Deebo Samuel's year, and all that. I mean, and the quarterbacks and all that. I think it was just a ton of fun to do this. So a good mental exercise, like for sure, having me think back over everything that happened this past season, even though as a Bengals fan, I'm going to try and forget what happened, at least at the very end of the year. But for the most part, no, the fantasy season was just another roller coaster of a year for more than one reason. So it's just, it was a lot of fun, like having to go back through and relive all that. So that was great.
It was like a yearbook for the fantasy season in a way, wasn't it? Wasn't it really? Well, I just appreciate you guys all coming on. Dustin, I mean, is this the easiest episode of this show you've ever done? Be honest.
Oh, by far and away, it was great. Might have to have you take over hosting duties more often here so I can
let's not get carried away.
Sit back and drink and enjoy the show.
Let us not get carried away with this. By the by, before we do go, I was just curious. You know, Chris, you mentioned the disappointment at the end of last season with the Bengals, and they didn't go as far as you want. Here is what I would love for everybody to do is just once around the horn, name your team for our audience in case they don't know, and what you think their record will be in 2022. So, JL, we will start with you. What do you expect your team's record to be in 2022?
All right, my team is the Ravens, sort of, I guess. I think it's going to be tough for the Ravens next season, but I think they're going to be able to hold their own. I'm going to go with 12-6. That's so optimistic.
Yep.
But I'm going with it.
That is optimistic, especially because
there's no
aren't you
accountability.
factoring in an
Nobody's
extra
gonna come
game.
back and see this next year.
Are you wait?
Is that
are
possible?
Teams playing 18 games next?
Wait, wouldn't it be
year?
12 and
17
There's
games.
18 weeks,
Yeah, 12
right?
Yeah.
I can't math. You know this. Come on.
The real like Freudian thing is: did you mean to give them an extra win or an extra loss when you did that?
That's a good question. I'll go with 11-6.
Fair. Oh, so you sided on losses. When it
Oh,
really
yeah.
push came to shove.
Mhm.
I appreciate that earnestness. Chris, what do you think about you and your Bengals?
I would put them probably back at where they were last season. So like 10-7, like somewhere in there. I mean, the offensive line, the issues, they have to address those, but the rest of the offense is coming back. They just tagged Jesse Bates. So I think the defense is like pretty decent as well. So yeah, I think 10 wins is probably a good spot to put them at for next year.
I dig it. Nate, how about yourself?
The Dallas Cowboys. Thank you. Yes.
Nobody's going to applaud you for that. Oh, God.
They're going to lose every single game next year. No, I'm going to go with 12 and a disappointing playoff loss.
Ooh, wow. It's kind of a, yeah.
So a rehash of this year.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Just utter disappointment and complete underperformance, as is every season.
You love that optimism. All right, Dustin, with our newly re-signed quarterback, what do you think?
Yes, as we all know, it's the Packers. I'm just gonna say what they've been doing. They'll do probably 13-4 and lose in the NFC Championship game for a third consecutive year.
The Packers, Aaron Rodgers is on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I hate you guys so much. I wish I'd never done this episode, if I'm being honest now. Just after that, I wish that I could erase the entirety of the episode. If this was a trust exercise, you all failed.
No, this is antitrust exercise. You told us this earlier.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And of course,
Right.
the winner of the episode is going to know that. All you other jokers asleep at the wheel didn't catch that slip of the tongue. So
Chris, we're gonna
deserves
we're
it
gonna arm wrestle
twice
at the
as much.
expo for the real champion.
I'm down.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
No, how about with fastest 40 time?
Okay, I'll go there.
All right. Let's
I'm
do
pretty
it.
fast.
40 what?
All right.
Yeah, they
I'm
have
not gonna
that. They have that field outside the Hall of Fame, right? So we
Yeah.
could actually have it all
All
timed
right.
out and everything.
All right.
Yeah.
I got
Fastest
some
40
time to
time.
train.
All right. I'm not going to go out and
Oh
start
my
running.
goodness.
12-ounce lifts, baby.
Yeah.
There are going to be no fewer than 7 hamstrings pulled at the expo just from this group alone, I'm pretty sure.
I think the easy open.
Once thank you guys all for coming on to this episode. This was an incredible amount of fun for me, and you guys made it so easy because some of you are really good at this and some of you are really bad, so it made it easy to draw that line, and that's what I
tolerated
appreciate
it.
as the host. But I would like to go around just once more real quickly. I know we're going to get dizzy from all this around shenanigans, but tell the folks where they can find you, promote anything that you do have coming up that you want to get out into the ether. So let's do, it's going to be really fun. Let's start reverse order, and let's start with Dustin. Dustin, you tell the people where they can find you.
Well, people don't want to find me, but I am at FF Dusty Dog on Twitter. But more importantly, go check out our podcast page at Drinking Fantasy.
Well said, Nate.
At Dominate FF on Twitter. I live there. It's my second home. And Odds Checker, the game day, and who knows? I mean, I'm someone who always throws on too much for myself. So I mean, I'll probably be on like 3 other sites come this season. So I'll see you all at the expo in August.
Mhm.
If you can find me.
You might take over hosting this show next week. Honestly, I don't even know. It's a possibility. Let's be honest.
I can't say no.
Chris, where can the folks find you?
On Twitter at Chris Allen FFWX, 4for4 football, football guys, NBC Sports Edge. Might be doing some stuff over at Established to Run like later on this year. But yeah, you can find me around. I'm hibernating at the moment, but I'll be back in these streets like doing some best ball content here with the next week or so. So I'll be back soon.
Excellent. JL?
Don't you dare ask me. Fine, I'll do it. So you can find me on Twitter, same right there under next to my name, FYF John Luke. We have, if you liked this, then you will love our shows. We have a daily live stream every weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy, where we play game show games, Jackbox games that we adapt to be about fantasy football. So it's really fun. Everybody's a bunch of people in there every day. You got come hang out with Scott Fish and Jordan Vanek, a bunch of people who are in there in the middle of the day talking fantasy football, playing some games, competing. But yeah, Front Yard Fantasy on YouTube. You can find us there. And we also do shows for FanDuel as well. So we're on FanDuel channel Friday and usually Sunday nights during the season, but we're just contributing content there as well.
Their show is much more organized than this. So if you could tolerate this, then you could absolutely enjoy the hell out of that show. Curious, you didn't mention my most recent guest appearance where I actually won.
I don't recall
the entire thing, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out.
You've been on that show?
You said I don't recall.
That for sure.
Jake was actually our first guest when we moved from podcast to live stream. Jake came on and man, what a good friend. He didn't say anything, but we were so bad back then. I
was also very terrible and continue to be at trivia. So it all worked out in the end. Check out all of our guests. Please go visit their Twitters. Go check out their podcast, their written work, all of the stuff, because it's just the classiest group of people. Maybe not classiest, but the best group of people that we could have on this podcast.
Right.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. So until next time, keep drinking and talking fantasy football.